It's time to go to work. Jerk of All Trades podcast, episode number 11. Big show today.
Absolutely.
What's up, Ray?
It's going to be a fucking fun one. We're going to be spitting some fucking venom today.
Spitting fire.
Yes, so it's going to be...
How's your holiday weekend?
I work retail, so it's about like normal.
You made that money.
I made money, so yep.
All good in the hood.
Yep.
Well, I don't know if you saw this over the holiday weekend, but there's a huge fight at the baseball game.
I believe I did see that, yeah.
You saw that, yeah. Bryce Harper and Hunter Strickland. Bryce Harper is the most popular baseball player in all of baseball right now. And he plays for the Washington Nationals.
He's no Mark McGwire, but...
No. He's a lot smaller than Mark McGwire.
Yeah, less roids.
He hustles, man. He hustles. I got to give it to Bryce Harper. I kind of didn't want to like him, but he's won me over with his hustle and his
loyalty and respect.
His passion for the game, man. He brings it out. So, there's this jabroni pitcher, Hunter Strickland. He was a little ticked off that Bryce Harper jacked 2 home runs off him a couple years ago in the playoffs. Decided to throw some heat at the rib cage of Mr. Bryce Harper. Mr. Bryce Harper not taking too kindly of motherfuckers throwing at his rib cage and decided to, stand up for himself.
As you would.
Pointed the bat at him a couple times. Said, you know what? I don't like that. I'm going to beat that ass. So what does he do? He charges the fucking mound and he proceeds to beat that ass. This is one of the best baseball fights I have ever seen.
I've never seen a baseball fight before. Oh, man.
Bryce Harper landed a haymaker from fucking the south side of town, man. I'm telling you right now, this was more exciting than a Floyd Mayweather fight. Bryce Harper and Hunter Strickland throwing down in the middle of the fucking pitcher's mound.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy, man.
Field.
Definitely.
This was one for the record books. This was a classic fight. Baseball, they got so many of these silly unwritten rules.
And a lot of written rules, too.
And a lot of written ones, but there's almost just as many unwritten as written these days.
Yeah.
And, the Hunter Strickland, a lot of old school guys don't care that he hit Bryce Harper. A lot of, the new school guys are saying it's bullshit. I'm kind of an old school guy, but I have a new school mindset as well. I think what happened should have happened. I don't think he should have beamed him, but he beamed him in the right spot. He beamed him, in the hip, in the stomach area. He didn't throw at his head. And they settled it out on the field. They went mano-y-mano and they made the best.
I think a lot of other monos were around too. It looks like I'm looking at a picture here where this one guy looks like he might be possibly setting him up for 3D here. So
yeah.
There was a few other people involved with this. I'll be honest, man. I watched baseball growing up. I don't watch it now, and I can't ever remember a baseball fight. Obviously, you have hockey, and that's very well known for that. And we've got some stuff in football as well. But baseball is not a very physical sport in terms of like person to person. So you see a little bit of stuff, maybe at home plate, but that's really about it. So yeah, this was pretty fucking crazy. They definitely they threw some bows. I was pretty upset though because last week we had our universal call out with the baseball with the the bats, and we got people being beaten to death with baseball bats. And so when you sent me this story, my hope was that he did actually point the bat at him Sting style, but that was about where it ended. I was hoping he came out and the unwritten rule was don't hit him in the face with a baseball bat and beat him to death.
Yeah,
and he did not do that.
Oh, yeah.
And so I was actually disappointed in this fight in that there was no death.
Bryce Harper throwing straight haymakers, overhand right, rocking Hunter Strickland. I scored that at 10-9. Bryce Harper. That was an easy round for Bryce Harper. Unfortunately, Bryce Harper got suspended 3 games for this. Initially, it was 4. They lowered it to 3. And Mr. Hunter Strickland got suspended for 6 games. And, that's the commissioner's call. And whatever the commissioner says, I pretty much go with it. So that was a pretty good scrap. But from now on, guys, let's leave the scraps and the fights to the professionals.
Yes.
And when I'm talking professional, I'm talking UFC.
Tell me, Eddie.
Ultimate Fighting Championship. UFC 212 is live this Saturday night. Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Oh man, this is the Eddie the Jerk breakdown. Ray, you ready for this?
Yes, I am.
We are ready.
Lay it down, man.
Man, I'm telling you right now, this is gonna be crazy. The main event is so damn good. Jose Aldo, interim champion, Jose Aldo versus Max Blessed Holloway. He is the blessed one. Um, he is also the interim champion. He last defeated Anthony Pettis for the interim featherweight championship. I'm gonna do it like I always do. I'm gonna break it down for you guys. I may throw a couple bets at you, but probably not this card. And tell you what my prediction is for a couple of these fights. I gotta be honest with you.
I want to hear, man.
I don't know a lot of these fighters. It's in Brazil. There's a bunch of guys with a bunch of crazy last names that I ain't never heard of. So
I definitely haven't heard of them either.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick to the script and only go about 4 fights. So please bear with me. So yeah, the main event is going to be crazy. This is going to be all stand up. This is going to be bows, just like the fucking baseball fight. They're probably not going to take each other down at one time in this fight. It's going to be all kicks and punches all day long. The size advantage, I'm giving to Max Holloway. He has the reach. He has the size. It's very rare for Jose Aldo to fight a guy with the reach and the size of a Max Holloway. And Max Holloway is very damn good with that reach, and he knows how to use it, and he uses it effectively. The grappling and the wrestling, I suppose I'll give it to Jose Aldo, even though it's been so damn long since he's used it. I don't remember like the last time I could say Jose Aldo actually wrestled with somebody. The striking is right down the middle. The leg kicks go to Jose Aldo. The straight right hands might go to Max Holloway. The jab, the body kicks, maybe Holloway, but the power will definitely go in striking to Jose Aldo. The stamina and athleticism. Stamina, I'm going Holloway all day. Jose Aldo tends to fade towards the later rounds, especially in championship fights. But the athleticism, the quickness and explosiveness definitely goes to Jose Aldo. The toughness in the chin. I'm going Max Holloway on this. He's a young cat, straight out of Hawaii. Them Hawaiians are tougher than a motherfucker. I'm giving that toughness to Max Holloway. Jose Aldo got knocked out by Conor McGregor not too long ago. And you never know, once these guys get cracked, they tend to fall a little bit easier as time goes on. So, to call it.
I gotta call it. Let me know.
Because of the speed, because of the leg kicks, and because of the experience, and because it's in Brazil, I'm going Jose Aldo on a split decision. But Max Holloway is on the rise. He's been on the rise. He comes at you like a motherfucker. He's upped his game for like the last 5 or 6 fights. This can go either way. It could easily be Max Holloway on a split decision, but because it's in Brazil, and I don't know how Holloway's going to react to those leg kicks. And honestly, Jose Aldo is probably the best athlete that Max Holloway's ever faced too. Got to go Jose Aldo.
Heard it here first.
Heard it here first. Co-main event. Claudia Gadelha versus Karolina Kowalkiewicz. This is a strawweight match.
Good job. Good job.
I've been working on that all week.
I wouldn't even have tried that.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so Claudia Gadelha, her second to last fight was against Joanna. She performed pretty well, but she lost to Joanna. And then the Karolina, her last fight was against Joanna as well, and she lost to Joanna in 5-round decision. Pretty damn close fight. These women, they typically go to decisions in their fights. They don't have the punching power. So if you're going to go on a bet with this, I'd definitely take the over. The size, I'm going, and reach, I'm going with Karolina. The grappling and the wrestling is Claudia Gadelha all day. I don't even think it's really that close, but you never know. The striking advantage is even. They're 50-50 on the striking. I would say Karolina has slightly better technique While Claudia has the better power. Stamina and athleticism, I'm going with Karolina, definitely on the stamina. Maybe the athleticism to Karolina as well. Toughness in the chin, I got to go with Karolina again. But this one's close. Like I said, the girls, they don't typically get rocked too hard. So Karolina is tougher than a motherfucker. And so is Claudia. But if I had to pick one, I'm going with Karolina on the chin and toughness. So my official prediction here, once again, it's in Brazil. It's probably going decision. And because of the wrestling and because it's so close on the feet, I got to go Claudia Gadelha. Unanimous decision, maybe split decision. Either way, it's going decision. Claudia Gadelha probably going up against your girl Joanna again. One of these days, if she gets a W here. But Carolina, I'm telling you right now, if you had to bet it, I'd definitely bet Carolina.
I hope I don't get forced to bet that because I'm definitely going to lose.
Yeah, the $20 won't kill you.
Eddie the Jerk did pretty good 4-5 last time.
4-5. I'm killing the game right now.
Yeah.
Technically, I got one of those and a no decision, but Eddie Alvarez, if that was a fight to the death, Eddie Alvarez is winning that fight. So I gave it to him.
I think there needs to be more.
I gave myself that one.
There needs to be more fights to the death in UFC. I would be more apt to watch UFC if somebody got fed to the fucking lions. So
that's pretty crazy. So the next fight is Vitor Belfort against Nate Marquardt. You remember Vitor Belfort at all, Ray?
I remember the name.
He was in the early UFCs.
Yeah, he has cauliflower ears and he's bald, right? Oh wait, that described every UFC.
Yeah, I was about
ever,
to say that really narrows it down.
I mean, I have a chrome dome too, as I've discussed, but anyway.
No cauliflower ears though. I'm surprised.
No? I was looking for the ranch, but
yeah, they're typically a badge of honor. Actually, there quite a few fighters are proud of their cauliflower ears. So, anyways, Vitor Belfort versus Nate Marquardt. The reach and the size is just about the same. The grappling and the wrestling is going to Marquardt, even though the jiu-jitsu definitely goes to Vitor. Striking, I'm giving to Vitor. Stamina and athleticism, this is easy. Stamina goes to Marquardt. The athleticism probably goes to Vitor for at least one round. Toughness in the chin, it's pretty close. I'll give it to Marquardt because, both of these guys have been fighting for double-digit years. These guys have been fighting and fighting and fighting for a long time. So either one of these guys get cracked, they might fall. My official prediction for this fight, Vitor Belfort, probably first round knockout because, Vitor in Brazil, man, he gets it done in Brazil. And Nate Marquardt, man, he's susceptible to be getting hit, and he gets hit quite a lot. And if Vitor hits you, you're going to fall. And Vitor, he's got the speed in his hands still, and he goes for it, man. So, and it's in Brazil, like I said, going Vitor Belfort first round knockout. Any issues with that, Ray?
No.
You don't like Marquardt?
This is the Eddie the Jerk breakdown, as I've discussed. Ray knows about fucking absolutely jack shit about
these were
UFC.
a couple old school guys, so I didn't,
I remember his name, but I mean, that's about where it ends. So
yeah, Marquardt's been around too. All right, so the last fight on my Eddie the Jerk breakdown, Eric Silva. This is a fight I'm super looking forward to. Eric Silva versus Yancy Medeiros. This is such an interesting fight because Eric Silva is just like Vitor Belfort in that in the first round, he is unstoppable. He is just one of the best fighters in the world for the first 5 minutes. But after that first round, tends to go downhill a little bit, and after the second round, much easier to beat. So if Yancy Medeiros can make it out of that first round, he's looking pretty good. The size and the reach goes to Medeiros. Definitely the reach goes to Medeiros. Grappling and wrestling definitely goes to Eric Silva. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. The striking, pretty damn close. I give a slight edge in the striking to Medeiros. He has the technique, but Silva definitely has the power. Stamina going to Medeiros and athleticism going to Silva. Toughness and chin. The toughness is going to Medeiros all day, every day. If you've ever seen this guy fight, Ray,
I've not seen him fight.
You would be amazed at the punishment that he can take. He can take it and take it and take it, and he finds a way to come back. So this
is a good way to live life, not just to UFC and stuff. So
absolutely, you got to be able to bounce back.
Life will throw it at you. You just got to be able to deal with it.
Yeah, this fight is going one way or the other. It's Eric Silva in the first round finish, or it's Yancy Medeiros second round or third round finish. And if it's got to be a finish, I got to take the guy that finishes first. In Brazil, Eric Silva, first round submission. How do you like that one? Submission.
I don't think you've called a fight with a submission yet.
First fight in Brazil. You got to rep the Brazil pride. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They be repping that jiu-jitsu all day, every day. Let's see a submission or two out there Sunday or Saturday night, UFC 212. And these guys, man, UFC, they're pretty tough guys. You never see them doing any flopping and shit like that, right? But you're probably going to see a lot of it in that goddamn NBA Finals.
Yes. Eddie, give us the fucking NBA Finals breakdown. What's going to happen? What's the story? I don't know. And hey, maybe the people out there do know or they don't. So let us know. Let me
Ain't
know.
too bad. Two best teams in the NBA going on right now: Golden State Warriors versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. If you tuned into my breakdown of the NBA playoffs, I predicted this as well, which obviously the easiest prediction of all time. I'll still take credit for it. All right, so big. This is a big deal right now. This is a rematch. This is actually the third time in a row that these two teams have faced each other in the NBA Finals. This is a legacy finals for LeBron James. He needs to win this to become 1A behind Michael Jordan. If he can take over this series and dominate, he'll be right up there with Jordan. It's hard to deny him at this point.
He's got more hair than Jordan. That's for damn sure.
He's got a little bit more. I don't know. Jordan shaved it quite often.
Yeah, I think LeBron got like a hair transplant though, didn't he? He went to Bosley or something.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised.
I believe he actually did. I saw some pictures online. That's about the extent of what I know about LeBron.
He's got the money for it, that's for sure. And he's always super conscious of his public perception. That's for sure too. But also legacy finals for Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant, always the bridesmaid, never the bride. He's come so close so many times in the playoffs, in the finals, never won the championship. Kevin Durant needs to win this series. For his legacy, for his career, he's got to do it. He's a great player, multiple-time All-Star. I think he's been the MVP as well. But you are defined in basketball by your championships. That's what Jordan is defined by. That's what LeBron is trying to catch up to Jordan with. He's defined by all players. Kobe is defined by his championships. Kevin Durant, you want to be elite, you want to be the greatest of the great, you got to win this series, and you got to hammer it down. You got to hammer it down. There's a history between LeBron and Kevin Durant. LeBron owns Kevin Durant every time they face each other. It's like LeBron James just big brother. I can't talk. Too much Corona.
That's all right, dude.
Big brother's this motherfucker all the time. I'm trying to keep it clean.
We're not gonna get the You're trying to keep it clean. God damn it.
Fuck it.
Come on, dude.
Oh, is that alcohol abuse?
Yeah, that might be alcohol abuse.
All right, I'll keep it moving. All right. So, like I said, Kevin Durant needs this. You know who else needs this, Ray? Motherfucking Steph Curry. Yeah. Because I'll tell you right now, Steph Curry blew it last year. Game 7 of the finals, throwing behind-the-back passes to some jabroni in the front row. Steph Curry, what are you doing with the goddamn ball? This ain't the regular season. You got to take care of that shit. Game 7 of the finals, you're throwing behind-the-back passes out of bounds. Get your shit together, all right? So Steph Curry, he needs this for redemption. He had an abysmal Game 7 last year. Steph Curry needs to get locked in. He's got to stop throwing the ball away. He's got to score some points, or else LeBron James is going to get up in that ass again. So there's that. Cleveland, they're healthy this year, and they're looking pretty damn good. They made it through the East with relative ease. Not as easily as Golden State made it through the West, but as long as Cleveland is healthy and rested, they're going to win some games in this finals, and it's going to be close. Kevin Love has seemed to have found his place with the Cavaliers. This is the first year where Kevin Love, he seems to be, he's got his little spot, and he's rebounding, he's scoring points, he's locked in on them three-pointers. If Kevin Love shows up to play, and this is another guy too that needs to step up because I don't know if he's a max player, meaning that he gets maximum money, but he gets a lot of fucking money, right? And he was a big-time free agent. He needs to deliver in the playoffs. He can't just idly stand by and just jog up and down the floor like ain't nothing going on. He needs to rebound, and he needs to score some fucking points. And that's where I stand on that. Golden State, they're not as deep as last year, but they're still potent as a motherfucker. They have no problem scoring 130.
You got to be deep. You got to be potent.
120, 130 points on the regular without even trying.
On the reg, dude.
But, if these guys are struggling, they're shooting bricks, from three-point land, they're not going to win the fucking game. I'm telling you right now, they can't rebound. They're not tough on the inside. And
you don't want it tough on the inside. You got to be soft and silky on the inside.
Soft and silky. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding.
And fleshy.
And fleshy and bloody and
pink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, so in 7 games, a team needs...
They're all pink on the inside.
Hell yeah.
Quote my dad.
In 7 games, teams need a deep bench. I'm giving the bench to the Cavs. The Cavaliers have more experience, and sorry,
this is a serious topic.
They're deeper on the bench. I'm not betting this, but I forgot to give out my bets for UFC. Oh well, be smart and win some money. That's my advice.
You heard it here first.
The official prediction for the NBA is NBA Finals is Golden State in 7 games. I'm sticking what I called before, unless the Cavaliers get tired and wear out sooner. LeBron is prone to being a big baby sometimes. If things aren't going his way, he'll just kind of drift away and quit playing. But man, if he does that like he did in Miami again, it's going to be kind of they're gonna hate on him a lot. So I don't know. Anyways, but here's another caveat that goes with it. If it does go 7 games, you can't count LeBron James out. There's always a chance LeBron takes it to the next level and asserts his dominance like he did last year in Game 7. He's still the best player in the world, and we've seen Curry and Durant choke already in the playoffs before. They could choke again. LeBron could bring it. He's still the best, and he might just show it. Still got Golden State in 7 games, but let's see what happens.
All right, you fucking heard it here first.
Boom,
like a fucking bomb dropped in your ear. Eddie the Jerk laying down some fucking knowledge for all of you.
You got
guys.
A middle finger for me, Ray?
And so with that being said, let's throw out the goddamn middle fucking finger of the week. And as I said, we're going to spit some fucking venom today. Ray the Jerk is in a particularly venomous fucking mindset right now. And so let's talk about this motherfucker. His name is Chris Cuzlow.
Fuck this guy.
Guzlow, I believe, actually. And I believe he might actually guzzle something. So
Chris Cum Guzzler.
So this guy's a 36-year-old fucking dude. And he would often drive around Denver, and he would do so on, I don't know, what do you think, like a motorcycle, or maybe in like his vehicle, or
maybe
even a bicycle? No, wrong. This guy's on a fucking scooter, dude. You're 36 fucking years old, dude, and you're riding around on a fucking Razor scooter. What the fuck are you doing, dude? You're on a goddamn Razor scooter. So that's your first fucking misstep, right? And so misstep number fucking 2 is you've got a fucking glove that's got 2 to 3 inch fucking blades on it. You're trying to be Freddy fucking Krueger, and you know what? I'm a horror fan through and through, but guess what, bro? You're not fucking Freddy Krueger.
Hell no.
You're some fucking weird fucking goth kid who never grew up, and that's really saying something coming from me, because I'm 33 and yeah, I never really grew up either, and I love metal and shit, but god damn it, I don't walk around in fucking gloves with goddamn little razor blades on them. So
yeah, no shit.
So anyway, aside from that, he would also sport what was described as a demonic clown makeup. So I know I've talked a little bit about some of the weird shit I'm into, so I'm not gonna hit him too hard on that. Whatever, be an individual, but don't fucking if you're in your 30s, you instantly have to get rid of your scooter. That's like the first fucking thing that has to happen when you turn 30.
That's probably why he's killing people. He's mad that he's riding around this
seriously, what the fuck is he doing?
Painting his face so people don't recognize him.
So it gets fucking worse, right? So apparently, according to police, recently he was arguing with a homeless man at a place called Torchy's Tacos. This guy's name was Brian Lucero. He was 29 years old, and apparently Brian Lucero, the homeless man, threatened him and tried to take his fucking scooter. And that's like a hot button issue for him, because
his scooter is his only friend.
His fucking parents have been trying to take his scooter for like years, and he's just never letting it happen. So, and he also said he also told him to get out of my alley. So apparently this guy has like some sort of fucking mortgage on this goddamn alley or something. Yeah. And so apparently that didn't go all that well. There was a brawl between them, fisticuffs that. I mean, maybe the base brawl was
haymakers.
Yeah, I'm not sure what was a better fight. We don't have video footage of this brawl, but apparently they fisticuffs were engaged in this, and from that, apparently this guy fucking guzzling something. He stabbed Brian Lucero. So supposedly the question with this is did the guy accidentally fall in the brawl, fall down onto these 2 to 3 inch fucking spiked glove things? And I mean, I think the first problem is I mean, if he wasn't wearing them, then that wouldn't fucking happen. You know what? I'm all about individuality and people being able to, be themselves and do their own thing. But I mean, god damn it, man. If you're walking around in fucking, Freddy Krueger, budget Freddy Krueger gloves,
homemade Freddy Krueger gloves,
there's probably a problem, And also Freddy Krueger has like 8 or 9 inch blades, and you only got 2 to 3. So you know what? You know what?
Lacking.
It's I know it's not always about the size, it's about how you use it, but yeah, I mean, when you're in the 2 to 3 range, that's a little bit of a problem. So I believe you have the micro penis equivalent of Freddy Krueger gloves. But so anyway, he was arrested for this, so he is currently in jail, and apparently he was a weird dude. He was lonely. He was quiet. He was, quote, real strange. And those are all things that, at some point could have probably described me as well, but I didn't go around fucking picking fights with goddamn homeless guys in alleys. So,
making your own homemade penis or Freddy gloves,
micro penis gloves. So, and aside from this guy's fucking, his Facebook page has got a bunch of Nazi propaganda and,
shit. Big surprise
things
there.
Like, I like sudden death movements, which is not to be confused with bowel movements.
Yeah, it's always the guys with no friends that got all that Nazi shit going on.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, he was lonely and quiet. Like, dude, you've just described what every neighbor said about every serial killer of all time. Like, they always say that. They're never like, yeah, we totally fucking knew. They're always like, yeah,
it was only a matter of time till that serial killer got
out. But yeah, he says things like, I like sudden death movements when you almost just died and made it out of alive. And so yeah, this guy is he's pretty fucking he's a weird dude. He drives a scooter and he murders fucking homeless guys, and that sucks. Good dude's 29, he's fucking homeless, so I don't know what the fuck happened with him, but now he's fucking dead. But I mean, the other thing with this that I wanted to touch on was God damn it, he's probably a fucking ICP fan. I mean, there's no other fucking way around it. There is no other way around it. He definitely liked the Insane Clown Posse. He was definitely a juggalo, and he definitely...
Did he have a bottle of Faygo?
I believe he had multiple bottles of Faygo, and I believe he hung out with juggalettes, and he had trunks full of Faygo and cars full of fat chicks, and he was often looking for chickens. So, yeah, not VR chickens, but yeah. He was going chicken hunting, but not for VR chicken. So that was the extent of my ICP lyric knowledge. So with that being said, I wanted to tell a quick story about a little time that I actually found myself at an Insane Clown Posse show. So I will do that in 1 second here. So take a little chug of beer and then I'm going to give you the story. So
Ray going to an ICP concert. Interesting.
All right. So as I've stated before, I've gone to many a show. I've gone to hundreds and hundreds of shows. I'm a big metal fan. I've been to so many shows I can't even fucking remember. And a friend of mine, we had basically made a little an agreement or whatever you want to call it, where I was going to take him to a show of my choosing, and he was going to take me to a show of his choosing. And so my choice was, this was about maybe 2011 or I think somewhere around there. And around this time, one of my favorite artists is Danzig. And I mean, you can think what you think about him. He's definitely not the most beloved person at this point. You know, he's kind of made some bad decisions, but...
Really?
But anyway, in 2011, he did what was a early version of what was to become the Misfits reunion that happened at Riot Fest last year, which was a huge deal, which I was at as well. But he had hooked up with Doyle von Frankenstein, who was in the original Misfits, at least for a while, guitar player, and they were doing a Misfits set at Danzig shows. It was called Danzig Legacy. And so I took him to that, and it was in Chicago, and he fucking loved it. Huge fan. I mean, it was amazing. The fucking Misfits fucking banner dropping and like the crowd just going fucking wild. Them breaking into all the original Misfits songs. It was a really good time. And so anyway, that's not the funny part. So anyway, I then his choice, of course, had to be, because he's a huge juggalo, or he was a huge juggalo. His choice was for me to see the Insane Clown Posse, and I'd never seen them before. At one point, Eddie and I had gone to see a JCW Juggalo Champion Shit Wrestling event, which I actually had completely actually forgotten until Eddie actually told me that earlier today. So I'm not really sure why I forgot. I was trying to remember if that was in my drug phase or not, or if I just blocked it out of my mind because it was so terrible. But so anyway, I went to go see the Insane Clown Posse with him, and we went to a place in Milwaukee called The Rave. And so we went there, and you know, as I often do at shows, I'm doing some drinking, and so I'm up at the bar, I'm trying to get a drink, and it's definitely a different crowd than I'm used to at normal metal shows, but you know, they're pretty cool, they're pretty nice, whatever. And so I go up and I get a drink, and there is a pregnant girl that is over at the bar, and of course she's drinking. And she's got a Hatchet Man tattoo on her starting to becoming sagging stretch mark laden breast, and so at this point,
it's like a week old breast that's been sitting in the kitchen and you don't want to touch.
I don't think
don't eat that motherfucker.
I think it's more than a week old, but so from this point she decides that you know, we're talking a little bit, me and my buddy, to her, and she decides that she's going to offer us some pot, and you know, we ask, you know, where do you have it? And she reaches into her, I think she had just a tank top on at this point, and she's also quite pregnant. And
oh geez,
she actually had a Hatchet Man bowl that she actually had under her disgusting, probably very sweaty, disgusting juggalette titty. So she pulled that out like right in front of the fucking bartender, and yeah, that was pretty fucking vile. So yeah, that was the first thing. And so then the show starts, and you know, whatever, there's a bunch of bands that are there with ICP, and you know, they perform, and Ray sits in the background for the most part, and tries to not interact with much of what's going on, and just does some drinking or whatever. And so then when the ICP comes out, they do their whole set, and their big thing is they have lots of Faygo, which is I mean, I'm sure a lot of people know what it is, but it's like a fucking budget soda in the Midwest here, and so that's like one of their big things. And so they have like literally they were getting full entire pallets of these 2-liters that were brought out on the stage, and they were just like shaking them up and just like launching them into the crowd. And this is you know, I'm sure a lot of people here have not been at the Rave, but we're in the upper level, and so there's like a giant domed ceiling, so it's quite high up, and they're shaking these sodas up and they're launching them. I'm not sure if I was just really drunk, but I think they actually had like a soda launcher too. And so anyway, they're launching these things in the crowd through the whole fucking set, which probably was, I don't know, like I don't know, maybe 24 straight hours. I don't think that's true, but it felt like it. So they're performing all these terrible, terrible rap songs, and you know, they're dressed like fucking fat fucking clowns from Michigan. And so they're launching these sodas out in the crowd, and sodas getting everywhere. And so I basically just avoided. I stayed like literally back by the bar the whole time. And meanwhile, like everyone in the crowd is just getting soaked with these terrible, disgusting, like fake versions of like Coca-Cola and Fanta and such. And so by the time that the show ends, there's literally, I'm not even kidding, there's literally about 2.5 to 3 inches of soda that is layering the entire floor in this fucking place. Like, you cannot escape it. And so somehow I escape it by being far away at the bar where I'm drinking beer and such. And so anyway, then my buddy comes out, and he's just soaked to the fucking bone. He literally had to take his shirt off and wring it out in like disgusting Diet Cola. Faygo is coming out of his t-shirt, and I'm like probably the only person that's walking out of this place that's like, I look fucking pristine, besides the fact that I'm shit-faced. And so I don't have a drop of fucking soda on me. So as we're leaving, I'm getting basically chastised by the entire Juggalo army about why I don't have not a single drop of Faygo soda on me. And I am not scared to tell them that I am not an ICP fan, and that I basically just came with my friend and I'm hanging out in the background. That, right? Yes.
Of course you did.
Of course I did, because that's what I fucking do. I don't fucking pull no goddamn punches. So So yeah, anyway, so I went to this ICP show and my buddy got soaked in fucking soda and I was the only motherfucker that didn't get not a single drop of soda on me, and I felt fucking great leaving out of that place, but I really didn't because I had all this shitty music in my head and I had to purge it out. So there it is, the time that I went and saw the Insane Clown Posse with my friend, and I didn't like not a single fucking moment of it, and I hated every bit of it, and so there it is. And with that being said, let's fucking go to break. We're gonna come back, and we got a lot of fucking fun topics. We're gonna talk about Kathy Griffin. We're gonna talk about our universal call out from last week.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about tech billionaires and the red pill or the blue pill, and a whole hell of a lot more. So
stay tuned.
We'll see you on the flip side, guys. So. Oh shit, cue the fucking music.
Somebody done fucked up, Ray.
Yeah, I think she did a little bit.
Kathy Griffin.
Tell us about it, Eddie.
Getting fired.
Big fucking story, man. Big story of the week.
Huge story this week. Getting fired from CNN.
You're fired.
I completely forgot about Kathy Griffin. I forgot she even existed until this week.
Let's talk about
who knew she had a job with CNN.
Let's talk about this shit. So Kathy Griffin, all right, so I knew she was a terrible, unfunny comedian, but
yeah,
what the fuck else did she did? Like, what did she did? What did she do? I don't fucking know. I tried to rack my brain. I have a pretty deep pop culture knowledge. I can't think of anything that Kathy Griffin has ever done of note. Somehow she's had like probably like a 30 fucking year career, and I can't name a single thing she's done, let alone something that was worthwhile.
No,
so
quite the unremarkable career, if I may say so myself.
Yes.
But yeah, she posed with a bloody replica of a severed Donald Trump head, our president-elect.
Whoa, I'm looking at her right now, and yeah, her face does not emote very much. We'll get to that later, but Eddie, give him the whole story. So
I don't know why she did this. I don't know if CNN put her up to do this or somebody else, a rich billionaire somewhere else, put her up to do this. But she took it in her hands to go ahead and go through with it. And she's, in my opinion, she's perpetuating terrorism with a criminal act against a government official here. It's completely unnecessary. It's completely inappropriate. It's not because it's Trump. It's not because Obama, not because of Hillary, not because of anybody. Nobody should have a picture of somebody holding their severed head. Apparently, Donald Trump's grandkids saw the picture and actually started crying about it because they thought it was real. And there's a lot of veterans out there that are not accepting Kathy Griffin's apology. I'm not a big fan of Kathy Griffin either way.
Yeah,
I don't accept her apology. It's in bad taste. I know she's trying to push the envelope, but
push the envelope. Watch it bend. But yeah,
man, she went way over the edge here. To me, this is what happens when mildly talented people become famous and try to stay relevant. Kathy Griffin is like the goofy aunt at a family party that tries so hard to be cool and funny, but really she's just so full of cringe.
Yeah,
you can't help but look at her and just be like, ugh.
I will agree with that.
Get away from me, Kathy Griffin, please.
Yeah, you know what? And she's basically stayed away from me. I'm going to say I have a slightly different opinion of this. Obviously, we know that where Eddie the Jerk stands on Donald Trump, and we know where Ray the Jerk stands on Donald Trump.
Can I keep roasting Kathy Griffin?
Sure, go ahead.
If you were ever wondering what a less funny version of Joan Rivers looked like without all the facelifts, it's fucking Kathy Griffin.
But let's keep in mind that it's not all the facelifts. It's actually just less facelifts. So from looking at her picture here, she's definitely
she's had a facelift?
She's definitely had some sort of
that
plastic
shit ain't
surgery.
working.
It's not working out all that well for her.
God damn it, get a refund.
Yeah, you definitely need to definitely need to bring your receipt in and try to get a refund on that shit. But I will say that I mean, I do believe, hey, this is political satire, and maybe it's taken a bit too far, but yeah, I mean, you're the president of the United States, and Obama and every president ever has had people giving some sort of political comedy that maybe was a little off the cuff or a little too far. Maybe this was a bit much, but I think in the end it's free speech. But I think she should be. I think she should be able.
It was freedom of expression.
All right, so freedom of expression, but she should be able to do it. But at the same time, CNN should have the freedom to be able to fire her too.
Absolutely.
And I don't completely disagree with that. And not just because of this, just because why the fuck does Kathy Griffin work for CNN? Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? I don't understand it. So yeah.
I don't know if I'm more appalled at the picture or the fact that she was even employed in the first place.
I'm definitely more appalled by the fact that she was just employed in general. So it's not so much about the picture, because I'm not really offended by it. But it's more the fact that why the fuck does Kathy Griffin still have any sort of job for any major news network, let alone like on a comedy network, because she definitely ain't goddamn funny, and she's never been funny. And
I've seen two of your stand-ups in 1998. I maybe laughed once. Maybe if you're a little bit funnier, you could get away with this shit. But you're not that.
You're
funny.
Definitely not that creative or funny. So sorry.
Bye, Kathy Griffin.
See you later.
You can't sit with us. And from the bottom of our hearts here, the jerk of all trades. Fuck you.
Yeah. So.
I don't really have much of a transition after that.
No, that's all we have to say. So with that, we've had a lot of vitriol and a lot of venom being spit this week. As I stated, I normally I'm the clear head on the show. I think Eddie might agree with that. I don't know. Do you agree with that, Eddie?
It depends on the episode.
Yeah, but
it tends to vary every episode.
But this week not so much. But earlier, I worked on getting a clear head, and Eddie worked on getting a clear head.
I try to get any head I can. I don't know about you.
You know what? You took the blowjob joke I was going for, so it's okay. It's okay. I'm not that all
I
that
thought you were
about.
Serving me up.
Yeah.
I was like Bryce Harper. I had to swing at that.
That's all right. That's all right. Like all the people that got beaten by fucking baseball bats last week. So. But so let's talk about. So last week we did the universal call out, and we had the baseball bat thing where we called bats, and then we had people being beaten to death by baseball bats, and little kids with fucking autism maybe in leg braces and shit. And I don't know, he had polio possibly. I don't even think polio exists anymore, but he was fucked up and he got hit in the face with a baseball bat. So we called out for the universe to stop being so goddamn vicious to all the people of the world, and so we picked our topics, and we got our topic was Buddhism. Which was perfect. The complete antithesis.
This is right up Ray's alley.
Right. This was completely opposite to what we, the violence that we had, because, Buddhism is nonviolence. And so we had Buddhism. And so let's fucking talk about that. And let's talk about what came of that. So Eddie, want to hit him a little bit?
We got a couple stories this week about Buddhism. It's one of the world's most major religions. It has a rich history of philosophy, psychology, and metaphysics. And interesting enough, the Dalai Lama says that the brain comes from consciousness.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
It's what consciousness delivers to the brain.
Yeah,
what makes you human.
Yeah, absolutely. So the world is very mathematical, and if you break it down to that level, like you're basically the experience that you are having right now is this mathematical information that your brain is processing and then projecting back out, and you are basically creating this image of the world. And so Buddhism is very rooted. Obviously, there's a lot of tenets of Buddhism, but one of those things is that your mind creates the reality that you are experiencing, and that via a bunch of different methods, one of which being sitting meditation. And mindfulness, you can basically start to kind of control that, and you can kind of morph that and change that, and basically change your reality. And so that's one of the major things of Buddhism. And so we had a couple fun Buddhism stories that came up this week, but there's another portion of this that came of it. So I'll let Eddie hit his story that he found that kind of connected with him, and then I'll tell my
Well,
story
it
that
wasn't
connected.
much of a story. It's just a background on Buddhism about silencing your mind monkey. And
But it was about entrepreneurs who are
oh
basically
yeah.
utilizing meditation and mindfulness to basically be able to deal with a lot of the anxieties and the stresses that come from trying to do something.
The everyday grind of being an entrepreneur.
Right. You're trying to do a lot of things, and you're trying to grow whatever business or whatever thing that you're trying to do, which we're doing here too. And obviously, there's a lot of stresses and anxieties and such with that, and apprehensions. And so you can basically use mindfulness to kind of see what's going on in your brain, and you can kind of control that a bit more and be able to deal with those things better. And so I think you can do that as an entrepreneur, but you can do that really as anyone.
Yeah, even without being an entrepreneur, practicing quiet meditation.
Yes.
15 minutes a day if you got it, every day, to sit in a dark, quiet room and just clear your mind. Your mind, embrace the quiet, embrace,
so few people do it. Yeah. So few people do it.
And you will come out refreshed, feeling good. Me and Ray actually meditated today.
Yes, which we will definitely be hitting
we'll hit
and talking
later,
about that.
Coming out of it, I felt like I'd just taken a nap.
Yeah.
Even though I was awake the whole time, obviously, but it felt good, and I felt refreshed.
Yeah, that's one of the big things with meditation for me, is that so you have your everyday waking reality and what you experience every day. And even if you don't fully realize it, and I think a lot of people do, but I mean, it's very mentally taxing. You constantly have this stimuli that's like coming at you from all directions. And you have, the way that your brain, like I talked about, the way your brain processes this information. And so you have all of these things that you are consciously.
You got a job, you got your wife, you got your kids, you got bills, you got this,
whatever
you have traffic, just everything.
Right. It wears down on you, but you have those things that you are aware that you are like, basically all these things are happening around you, and you choose what to dial in on. And there are still all of these other things that make it into your subconscious mind, and you don't realize that. And so your brain, your body, your spirit, your soul really gets weighed down by all of that stuff. And so basically what meditation does is it really, like, as you're not sleeping, you're not awake fully. I mean, you are, but it's this weird bridge world between those two realities. And so, I get a little bit into the dream stuff, and delving into all the symbolism and such of my dreams. And so, I totally get how that allows you to kind of deal with some of that. But this is kind of a different type of thing, like lucid dreaming is something that I'm very into. But this is like that, but kind of different in that you're still more aware. And as you sit more and you do more meditation, you become more aware of your monkey mind and the way that works, and how you can, hopefully start to control that and start to like not let these thoughts and things that, affect you as much. And so the more that you do it, the more aware of the world and the way that it works, and the more you can appreciate the good things in the world, or at least that's the way that I look at it. So
sure. Yeah, and I read a quote here that says, for Buddhism, people are disturbed not by events, but by the view they take of them.
100%. So
it's not what's happening to you.
It's how your perception.
How you perceive it happening.
Absolutely. So the human mind is a very, very funny thing, and it chooses to, have a certain experience and remember things in a certain way. And if you went back and you actually saw the way that it actually played out, you would see that it's not quite what you remember it being. It's like the way that, you may think that people think a certain way of you, and they have a certain perception of you, and, you become very anxiety ridden about that. And then you really realize,
who cares?
Most people think about themselves and their own experiences so much more than they think about you. And the percentage they think about you is just much, much more minuscule than the amount that you think about yourself. And it's really just you allowing your own perception of your reality to drag you down. And in meditation, allows you to be able to handle that
It releases it a lot.
quite a bit better. So I wanted to talk about this story that I had was there is basically in I believe is this in Thailand? I think this is in Thailand, but there is it's in Thailand. They are actually installing a speed limit monk in vehicles, and the goal of this is to keep people more mindful of their driving and hopefully start to save lives, slow down, drive a little bit more safely.
Yeah.
Because they're seeing this, this Buddhist monk that they worship, and it actually it plays like a little jingle jangle preaching voice thing
When you're driving too fast.
Right. So I thought that was like an interesting, I can't imagine what would happen here if we had like a little fucking a buddy Jesus there.
I tell you right now, if I had a little Kathy Griffin sitting on my dashboard and she had to tell a joke every time I was driving too fast, I would drive the speed limit immediately.
I might actually drive off a fucking cliff. So
I might just get a head-on collision and just end it all. If I have to hear one more shitty Kathy Griffin joke, it's over.
Yeah. So as we said, as I've stated on the podcast before, and so I've been into this type of stuff for quite a number of years, and I have meditated probably thousands and thousands of hours by this point. And so it's definitely not a new experience for me. Eddie, I think can you confirm? Have you had I know we did the flow tank. What kind of experience do you have with meditation aside from that?
I've tried to meditate a couple years ago, and I'm just not very good at it. My monkey mind is all over the place, kind of similar to when I was in the float tank early on. How my mind was just in constant motion. I couldn't control it. I couldn't get it to quiet down. Today, actually, I was able to get it to quiet down quite a bit, more so than I don't know if it's because of the blindfold and the earplugs.
I got you in the right mindset, and I definitely guided you a bit. So instead of
I think it might have been the pillow.
It helps for sure.
It helped me a lot.
I think that so we actually did not do mindfulness. So I started on basically a form of transcendental meditation. I find that having a mantra is a good intro rather than like watching the breath or I've done like loving kindness meditation. I've done a lot of different types of meditation, Vipassana, but I find that mantra-based meditation it really gives you like a core thing to go back to, and so I gave Eddie a mantra to go back to, and so I'm sure that definitely helped.
Oh yeah.
And I think too that the fact that like no matter what, so when I meditate, I mean even after thousands of hours, when I meditate, a lot of times I'm like, I think of all these reasons why I need to stop meditating, and I need to like get this done, or I need to get that done, or whatever it might be. And so when you're really like forced to like, you have got to do it. Like there was no way that I was not going to sit there for 30 minutes because I had to sit there for 30 minutes. Eddie was doing it and it was going to be part of the podcast. So I had to do it. And so when you're really like, you have no other choice and you break past, that level where your mind is just a fucking mess, and you start to get to those good levels and you come out of it and you just feel so much better. And
yeah, I'm going to try to go 5 minutes a day, baby steps, five minutes a day, every day, just to see if I can get there.
Make a practice of it. That's a big thing of it too, is even, obviously the meditation itself is helpful, but just having like a ritual and a thing that you're doing that you're focusing on is really, really important. And, whatever it might be, it definitely is helpful. And so, what kind of experiences can you tell them about? And then I'll tell them a little bit about my experience from today.
Oh, from today?
Yes.
I just had overall good feelings after. Nothing too much during. It was just me repeating the mantra and pretty much thinking about how awesome our podcast was going to be today. But after it was all over with, I felt good, man. I felt good. It felt like I had taken a nap, even though like I was wide awake the whole time. It really eased my mind, calmed my mind, got me in the right place actually for the podcast, to be honest with you. And when I came up out of that, it was hard to stand up. Coming out of there, I was in half lotus.
Half lotus.
I was in half lotus. My ankle was killing me after the 30 minutes, so I'm going to dial it down a little bit if I do it at home. But It was cool. It was definitely cool, and it's something I want to continue on with to see if
Awesome.
I can reach the levels that you'd reached today.
Yeah, and you know what? And from that, I want to say, so as I said, I've done it a lot, and obviously, and maybe not obvious to you, but the listener here, but I'm not an expert, nor do I claim to be an expert. There are monks and just whatever people that spend their entire lifetimes in sitting meditation to try to reach enlightenment, and I'm goddamn not enlightened, and I'm nowhere near it. But I've had a lot of really, really bizarre and interesting experiences doing meditation. I've had a lot of really, really awesome and blissful, fucking happy experiences doing meditation. And I've had a lot of just like fucking bad, what I would, and that's a label that I put on it, but a bad experience.
Really?
Much like psychedelics, I come out sometimes and I'm like, man, that was a fucking wreck, dude. Like
Damn.
I spent 25, 30 minutes and like, it feels like a wreck. Like I feel like a wreck, I dealt
Walked out feeling shittier than
no,
when you
no,
walked in.
I don't think I don't think that's it. But I mean, I think that that's important because just like psychedelics, when I talked about the bad trips, it's that same type of thing where it's not a bad meditation if you just do it. That's the big thing that I always tell people when I talk about meditation is that they're like, oh, I'm not a good meditator or whatever, and it's like, dude, if you are meditating, you are doing well. Like it's all about the practice itself. And if you're placing some sort of expectations on it, then you're actually kind of missing the point of meditation. But anyway, like I said, I've had some really, really bizarre experiences. So I thought I would talk a little bit about my experience today. So we did 30 minutes. Normally what I do is about 20 to 25 minutes. And beyond that is honestly, it starts to get a bit tough. 25 minutes I found is a pretty good sweet spot for me. But anyway, we did 30 today. And so, yeah, things have been kind of crazy in my life right now. And so, I meditated. It was actually a different place than I normally meditate. I have in our podcast room here, I have a whole little kind of ritual meditation table with a bunch of accoutrements and stuff and things that really inspire me, that get me in the right place of mind or the right frame of mind to meditate, incense, all that kind of stuff. I got a Buddha statue, Kali, I've got a bunch of stuff on there. But anyway, I meditated in a different room today because I wanted to let Eddie kind of have that experience down here. So I started meditating, and one big thing that I get a lot, and I talked about this on the float tank thing, I get these like kind of energy or electrical charges that kind of go through my body, and it's like this tension that's like built up in my body, and it's just like these like kind of like electrical shock waves that kind of go through my body, and it kind of causes my body to twitch and my muscles to spasm a bit, and I just feel this really crazy like energy going through me, and so that'll go on for, I mean, I don't really know because time kind of ceases to exist a little bit in the meditation world. And so they go on for, whatever. And then eventually they like subside. And I kind of start to like feel like I'm going into the next level, I guess would be the best way to describe it. And I feel like more calm or whatever. And hopefully like my thoughts subside a little bit more. And, I keep going back to my mantra and all these thoughts are going through my head, and maybe like I find myself chasing them a bit. And eventually they just like, I kind of see that, and I kind of like gently go back to my mantra, and eventually they go away, and it's like the next thing. And it really makes you aware of like what's going on in your brain every day that you just don't realize. And so anyway, I had that happening a lot. And so a little bit later on in the experience, I basically, so everyone has this, and maybe depending on what you're into, maybe this might sound a little crazy, but you have that voice inside of your head, which is you, but it's not you, and it kind of talks to you in the third person. And so this thing kind of talked to me in the third person, but in a much different way that I'm more aware of than normal. And basically said like, you are going to reach a different level today, and don't be scared, and just accept it, and just like that
was actually me telekinetically speaking.
Yeah, it's very possible. We're all connected. We're all made of the same shit, so it's possible. So I heard it, and whatever. I just I tried to not attach to it too much, whatever.
You took it in and took it for what it was.
Absolutely. And so towards the end of the meditation session, I had the kind of electrical charge thing going on in my body, and it was pretty intense. And so anyway, it finally just subsided, and all of a sudden I just like not my conscious mind, I just felt my head like move upward towards the sky, and my head actually did move upward, and it was like I was being like my head was being drawn up into the stratosphere, into the cosmos, and my head was pointed completely up. And all of a sudden, like this weight, like I felt like there was this like giant weight on me, and I just like literally felt it like just like if you just like, you know, you were fucking wearing some clothes and they just like, they were super heavy and they had a bunch of weight on it, and you just like, you detach them and they just like fell to the ground. Like I just felt that feeling come through my body, and there was just this like calm that just came over me.
Like weightlessness?
Yes, absolutely. And it just dropped, and my head just became like a balloon, and I just felt myself just like floating in the fucking stratosphere, like just becoming one with everything around me. And this lasted for, honestly, at this point, I'm not sure, because like I said, there was no fucking time in this, and it was just like, just an amazing, amazing feeling. And then
that's pretty damn cool.
I set a timer. I've got a meditation timer on my phone, and it rang. And like, as it rang, once again, subconsciously, like not like aware of doing it, like my head just like from going like at full tilt up, just went full tilt down, and my chin just like came down to my chest, and I just like, I fell down, and I gave it like 30 seconds to just allow that fucking awesome energy to be going through me. And then it was done. I opened my eyes and I came back into reality. And yeah, so
that's what we're striving for, Ray. We're trying to get on that level.
Absolutely. So you know what? And once again, I want to state that it's not about that experience. Like if I attach myself to that and the next time I meditate, I'm like, man, I want to get that feeling again. Then I've lost track of why I'm meditating, because I don't want to do that, because, you know, like you said, it's not the actual experiences, it's your interpretation of the experiences. And if you are interpreting things as negative or positive, like you are placing a label on it, and nothing is inherently positive or negative. And so you just need to, you know, step off that a little bit. And yeah, so.
Absolutely. Good times.
Yes,
new experiences here on the Jerk of All Trades podcast. You learn something new every week. So, you know, after all this meditation talk, let's try to figure out whether or not we're living in a computer simulation up in this bitch.
Oh my God.
Ray, you want to take this one?
Yeah,
Tech
sure.
Billionaires?
Yes.
This is shit's about to get crazy. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, this is absolutely fucking bananas. So apparently there's a couple of billionaires in Silicon Valley. I'll just kind of read this quote. Many people in Silicon Valley have become obsessed with this simulation hypothesis, the argument that what we experience as reality is in fact fabricated in a computer. Two tech billionaires have gone so far as to secretly engage scientists to work on breaking us out of the simulation. So
these fucking billionaires are hiring scientists,
yes,
to figure out if this is all a work.
Right. Is goddamn life a work? And I think the more drugs you take and the more meditation you do, you start to realize that it is more of a work.
Yeah.
And so I can't say I'm probably as blown away as others might be with this. And in the end,
so if we break out of the simulation, where do we go?
I mean, that's a big thing of this, is that, you know, what if, like, let's say this information is accurate and like that's what life is. Life is a computer simulation. Like, if that reality becomes known and aware, like, what sort of just absolutely like crippling impact does that have on the world, right? Like, I think in the article they talk a lot about like the evil supervillain who like who wants to basically, you know, fucking, you know, change the world or, you know, whatever in his own twisted way. And so they kind of liken it to that. But I mean, I get it, you know, like these people have a lot of money and obviously they have a lot of knowledge and a lot of power. And so they don't agree with the current paradigm and like what's being given to us. And I think that, I mean, that's not surprising because honestly, neither do I. But, you know, what kind of impact does that have on the world if people that are totally not prepared for that type of information? I've heard people many times say, well, why don't we just give all the world leaders, you know, LSD or whatever and like, you know, flip their fucking script. And I mean, there are people who are just not ready for that sort of impactful information. And
what would happen to all the religious people? All the people that believe in Jesus.
Yes, that's
that God created everything. Find out that a fucking computer created all this shit.
Right, absolutely. Like that. I mean, that would be absolutely fucking mind blowing for them. And I honestly don't know how they would react to that.
People are gonna freak out.
And I think that I'm not saying that, you know, everything
if it's correct.
Right, and we don't know. None of us really know.
There's still only questions.
I think that my big thing with this is that so I don't think the world is fucking perfect right now or a far fucking cry from it. But at the same time, I think that religion is an important thing for a lot of people, and it's how they deal with the reality of this world, and to forcibly, make them not be able to have that anymore, is honestly, I mean, it is a bit selfish, honestly. Like, I mean, I get it, it's, you wanna know that, I mean, we're all here in this world and nobody really knows why we're here, and you wanna know why. And I mean, that's the meaning of life. God damn it! Like, why the fuck are we here? What the fuck does any of this mean?
How did this happen?
It's definitely not just to make a bunch of fucking fucking paper money, or at this point it's not even fucking paper money, it's just just a fucking number. Like, that's not what it's about. What is it really about? And I get it, like, they have all of that, they have so much of that they don't know what to do with. And the biggest thing is, like, what is reality? What is this world? And they want to kind of try to answer that, and so they're like putting their money toward that. There's strong speculation that one of these people is Elon Musk, so we know your fucking game, dude. But
one of the interesting quotes that I saw in here was that the fate of the world would be in the hands of programmers to keep or destroy as they wish. That's pretty crazy. But my question is, who says
that the goddamn hackers?
Yeah,
oh man,
who says this isn't the case already? If we're already living in a computer simulation, who's pressing the goddamn buttons?
Right.
And why can't we get more followers on Instagram?
Yes, programmers, if this is in fact real, can you give us quite a bit more followers and more downloads
and more
on the fucking podcast?
Please.
So,
more, a little bit more of everything, more love, and more good people.
Absolutely, there was some vitriol and venom, but there's a lot of love too. So we love all of our listeners.
You gotta have that yin, and you gotta have that yang.
We love all the listeners. We love life, and so I think with that being said, let's hit some social media and let's go to break.
Absolutely.
And we'll come back with our final segment.
Guys, we're on that iTunes, we're on that Stitcher. Please, iTunes, give us that review, give us that
computer programmers,
rating.
please make it happen.
Yeah, if you can hack into that shit, we appreciate it. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We're on there, Jerk of All Trades. You can't miss us. Just look for us and you'll find us. Jerk of All Trades podcast at gmail.com. You can hit us up, reply quickly. Any questions, comments, or things you want to talk about, we're here for you. JOATpodcast.com. We have all the podcast archives, same as iTunes and Stitcher. You can find all the old episodes there. Let me take a look here. We got the follow, like, rate, comment, and subscribe. You can do that on the website. You can do that on iTunes. You can do that on Stitcher. You can do that just about anywhere. Contact us on social media. Contact us on Gmail. We will holla back.
Holla back, y'all.
Jerk of All Trades podcast.
Episode 11. 11. 11.
We love you guys. Thanks for sticking with us. And,
final segment.
Final segment of the day. I had a vegetarian entree today.
Yes, you did. For
dinner tonight.
I believe I joked that it was the first time that Eddie has ever had a meal in which another living being did not have to die for.
It just might have been.
And
I fucking loved it.
Yeah, Eddie actually really liked it. So
it's fucking delicious.
I've dropped that I am a vegetarian, and I don't say that to be a hipster. It's just it's not something I've done for a super long time. I've wanted to do it for a long time, and I've been doing it for probably about 6 months now. And aside from the sushi, which actually doesn't make me a vegetarian, but I only very occasionally have that. But
now we have science.
We have fucking science. So, I mean, first we'll talk about. We had what I like to call Doritos Locos Taco Salad, which is basically it's definitely
Mwah.
not healthy, but it's like lettuce, tomato, Doritos, and a Western dressing, and also throw instead of meat. We normally do it with lentils with taco seasoning. So Eddie had it, and he was very apprehensive of it. He was
I sure
considering
was.
eating pepperoni pizza, and he had it, and he fucking loved it. And not only did he love it, he actually went
I had
back.
seconds.
He went back for seconds.
I couldn't help it.
I believe he actually said it was the best taco salad he ever had. So
It damn sure was.
it is proof positive that you can eat a meal and it doesn't have to have meat, and you can still enjoy it. And as science moves forward, we've got more meat based products that are not meat and they taste like meat. And so let's fucking talk about the new fucking it's the veggie burgers. You know what? They're definitely, I've had many burger in my life. There's not a veggie burger out there. There's some black bean burgers that taste good, but they don't taste like burgers. There is a veggie burger out there that I actually have not tried yet. It's by a company called Impossible Foods of Redwood City, and it's a veggie based burger. It's a genetically modified veggie soy based product. And the crazy thing about it is that it actually bleeds. It doesn't
That is
actually
weird.
bleed, but it's got you press on it and it's got some blood juices that like come out of this thing, and apparently it's very well reviewed. A lot of there's some like fancy ass restaurants around the country that actually are serving this thing already, and people are really liking it. So yeah, let's talk about that. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm all about it if it tastes good. I'm all about that taste. Everybody knows that by now. People want greater oversight by the government. Make sure it doesn't get sick.
Yeah.
How does it metabolize in the body?
a lot of questions about GMOs and like are they healthy for people? Are they not healthy for people? I don't think there's enough information out there, and I think people are very, very uninformed about it. And you've got companies like Monsanto out there that do a lot of really, really shitty things too. So that definitely doesn't help the cause either. So
Yeah, well, GMO is headed in a different direction with this.
Yeah.
This is turning into burgers, I don't know if they're going to try chicken. I don't know if they're going to try other meats, simulation meats out there. But I'm down to try it. And I'm not the hugest fan of soy.
I love my tofu. I'll tell you what, I like tofu
Yeah.
a lot.
I mean,
If it's cooked right, you get the water out of it, you brown it up good. It's fucking awesome.
Just give me the taco salad with the Doritos.
With with the lentils, but
Yeah.
so yeah, real quick, I just want to talk about Monsanto. There's a lot of issues with that company. I watched a whole documentary where they basically talk about how they basically patent a particular seed type, and they will put their fields next to other farmers, and there's going to be some crossbreeding going on, and then what happens is that ends up in the farmers, whatever their fields are, and then they basically are like, hey, like we want some sort of scientific evidence that you are not using our patented stuff, and
Yeah.
obviously it crossbreeds, and then they basically they put these fucking farmers out of business. So there's a lot of fucked up things that they do beyond that, but
Yeah, I don't agree with that either.
yeah. But I mean, I think in the end, I think, there's still a lot of questions about genetically modified stuff. But I think here's the big thing is that there are people in the world that are starving right now, that are, not being fed, due to a large number of reasons. And I think that, GMO may be a good way to be able to feed more people in this world. There's a lot of information out there about the beef industry and how impactful that is on the world.
Yeah, the cows got to be happy about this shit.
Cows are being bred to be slaughtered, and there is a lot of global impact that they're having. Their fucking farts are like a big thing in the climate change game.
Jeez.
And
There's going to be more of them now, too.
there's a very interesting documentary called Cowspiracy, and it really breaks down like the amount of energy and water and everything that is required to basically take care of cows so people can have meat. So like, what if we end up with meat products that are created in a lab, and we don't have to have any suffering of animals? We don't have to put VR headsets on the goddamn cows.
Yeah.
That hasn't
VR
happened yet. We got
cows.
VR chickens coming, but we don't have VR cows yet. And what if we don't have to do that and you can get a burger or you can get whatever thing it is that you really, really like, but you don't have to murder another living being for that to happen.
Hell yeah.
I mean, are you okay with that? And I mean, I would hope most people would be, but I think that there's like this primal urge in people to like, they want death to satiate them. And I think that it's kind of fucked up, right? Like,
Sure.
So
Impossible Foods, you're changing the game.
yeah.
You get a thumbs up from Eddie the Jerk.
All right, you get a thumbs up from Ray the Jerk too. So
As long as you don't put stem cells in beer, I'm
don't
okay.
fucking do it.
But speaking of beer, I wish I could get a goddamn beer at Taco Bell, and now
Yes.
I can.
Yes, finally.
Taco Bell has opened up 300 more cantina-style restaurants, to which my bullet point says, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's not going to be a drive-through. You got to walk up in that bitch and, sit down and order like you would at a regular restaurant. They do have digital menu boards and tablet-style ordering. I believe the Float Milwaukee had tablet-style ordering as well.
Yeah.
Very, very modern, very, very new and nice looking. They're going to be serving up beer and mixed drinks.
300 locations are looking to create this deal.
I'm sorry, yeah. And they already have some open now in Chicago, San Francisco.
Yeah, some of the bigger cities. So
so they're testing it out, and apparently it's working out for them.
Yeah. Taco Bell has definitely been
because who hasn't gotten drunk, and then about 2:33 in the morning, you're driving home, and you see that Taco Bell. You got to stop. Alcohol and Taco Bell is like peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah.
It can't be beat. It's the best.
Yes.
So, I mean, Taco Bell.
What if you can get more alcohol?
Taco Bell, you're onto something here. This is a smart move.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to try out one of these cantina stuff. Maybe we'll go to Chicago one day and do a podcast about it with these cantina style restaurants.
Yeah, that would be fucking cool.
Get a margarita, pina colada. That's what they're serving up here.
If you like pina coladas, and I don't know the rest of the words.
Ow! So yeah.
Whoa.
Hell yeah! So we can do that, and we could
Slim Shady.
Yeah.
So Taco Bell has really, really been stepping up their game. They have been one of the companies that's really done a lot of interesting stuff. We talked about Wendy's like getting fucking hardcore on their fucking social media. Taco Bell has been doing that. They've really been looking to change their image. If you look at a lot of their restaurants and stuff, they've updated them quite a bit. And I'll tell you what, as a person who's not eating meat, I don't have a lot of fast food options out there, and Taco Bell is one of them. They have multiple things that I can eat there that don't have meat in them,
and it's delicious.
And if you're a meat eater, they have a bunch of weird ass shit. Like they have fucking taco fucking shells that are made out of fried chicken,
naked chicken chalupa, delicious. I fucking love it.
Now they have fucking Doritos looking chip things that are actually fucking chicken nugget things.
Yeah,
so,
I saw that.
They basically, what Taco Bell does is they just like come up with these really absurd fucking. This is actually serious. I actually heard something like they come up with these absurd food products and they basically put them out there into the marketplace without really test marketing them all that much and see what people think. And if it goes really well, then they keep them. And if it doesn't, then they fucking move on. So Taco Bell is changing the fucking fast food game.
Taco Bell,
big up for them.
Yeah,
so.
fuck yeah, I agree, Ray.
Yeah.
More cantina restaurants opening up, coming to a neighborhood near you. You see that cantina Taco Bell open up, stop in there.
Check it out.
Have a beer, have a margarita, and just kick back and have some Taco Bell and have a drink.
Yeah. So, yeah, very, very fucking cool.
You know what? Take it.
You know what would actually, what would be cool?
What's that?
If motherfucking, and we talked about him a lot.
Hell yeah.
Mr. Mark Zuckerberg went to Taco Bell and had a fucking beer with us.
Hell yeah, Mark Zuckerberg.
Let's talk about fucking Mark Zuckerberg and the fact that he supports universal basic income. So we talked a little bit about that before. Canada is making it happen. Finland's making it happen. So Eddie, tell me what you think about universal basic income. So.
Yeah, well, he recently had a speech about it in which he stated he supported it. It would alleviate the income inequality between the middle class,
very much, which there's a great divide right now.
Well, maybe not so much the upper class, but
the uppercut, I think. But
one of the funnier quotes I've seen on here is that it gives you financial security before the robots take away all of our jobs.
And that's the uppercut thing right there. You're getting a motherfucking robot uppercut.
I'm telling you right now, if I lose my job to a robot, it's getting that bus driver uppercut all
get
day,
ready,
every
robots.
Day.
God damn it.
I don't care if you can beat me in chess. I don't
care if you beat me in Go. I don't even know how to play it.
Yeah,
but
I don't care if you try to give me a blowjob. You take my job, you get an uppercut. And
Yeah.
that's just the way it is.
Absolutely.
They actually tried this in Finland, and they randomly select the country Finland. They randomly select
Finland.
citizens to receive $600 to $2,000 every month. So on a random selection in Finland, they're giving money away to their citizens. Not quite sure how that's working out yet. Canada, obviously, we talked about that. And on the other side of things, Switzerland actually voted down the referendum last year.
Voted it down.
To provide basic income to citizens. So not everybody's a fan. Obviously, nothing. It says universal income on the name, but it's not going to be universally liked.
Not quite yet.
Everybody,
Not quite yet.
So, it's a work in progress. They say experts are critical of Mark Zuckerberg, but you know what I say? Guess what? Experts were critical of Christopher Columbus too, and they told him the earth was flat. Look at us now, bitch! Mark Zuckerberg, do the damn thing. And don't listen to nobody.
We're
changing the game each and every week.
We are hundreds of years later, and there are still goddamn flat earthers out there. There are people that still think the fucking earth is flat. There are susceptible, dumb,
and they're more expert than we are.
Dumb motherfuckers out there because they went online and they think they fucking know everything. And you know what? I fucking read a lot of information online, and it doesn't mean that I think that I'm a goddamn expert. I'm just a jerk of all trades, and I know a little bit about a lot of things, and Eddie knows a little bit about a lot of things.
It's always when you're on the cusp of changing the game, people want to try to shoot you down.
So I'll tell you what, I've talked about it before, and I love the idea of universal basic income. Mark Zuckerberg basically talks about the fact that this is basically going to alleviate people from doing these fucking grind fucking jobs, the hamster wheel fucking bullshit, and instead you can put that energy towards something more impactful, more positive, and do something bigger, better, and greater for the fucking world. Have a goddamn podcast called the Jerk of All Trades podcast, but don't do that because that is our podcast. But seriously, I think it's fucking awesome, and I think that, goddamn it, I want more of my money instead of going towards fucking billion-dollar fucking fighter jets to go into other fucking lands and fucking take their shit that inevitably fucking fail. Let's fucking redistribute that money back to the fucking people of this fucking nation. Let's give them a fucking chance to live in this fucking world and not have to worry about the basic necessities. No one is saying let's make everyone a goddamn millionaire, but we have the Federal Reserve, so we could definitely do that. But let's take some of that fucking stress and anxiety off of people, fix a lot of things, including fucking mental health issues, and just give people a chance to live and not be constantly stressed. How the fuck are they going to feed their families? How are they going to keep a roof over their head? Let's take that off their plates, and let's allow good people to have some fucking free time to be able to make the world a better place. And Mark Zuckerberg, you know what? We've had our issues before with Facebook. We've had our issues with you, but you know what? With this being said, I love it, and I love you for supporting it. And God damn it, you're good in my book. So.
You never know when Google buys out Facebook in the next 15 years, and they appoint Mark Zuckerberg the president of Google government.
Let's get ready.
Maybe they will approve of this universal income for all the citizens of Google government.
There are some experts out there that are talking about within 50 years we're going to have 2 AI basically powerhouses that are going to be kind of ruling the world. And if the computer simulation that we were talking about earlier is true, then this is very possibly going to happen. And I think that Google and Facebook are very likely candidates for that. And I think that it's definitely not going to be like, AOL Online or Yahoo or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Sorry, Bing. It's not happening. You're not one of the fucking powerhouses. But this is fucking cool, and I hope this happens. And that's about all I have to say about that. So, Eddie, you have anything else to touch on this?
Nah, not too much. Let's hit that universal call out.
Yes.
Wrap this bitch up and go the fuck home.
Last
2 weeks
you got to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Even though you don't want to, it doesn't feel as good. You got to fucking wrap it up. So let's wrap this shit up. So.
Hell yeah. Last 2 weeks we've been doing the universal call out, and first week was. Or last week was bats. The first week was...
No. First week was bats, and then we've only done 2 weeks. Week 1...
Buddhism.
Week 1 was bats. This week was Buddhism.
I'm sorry.
So we had the very violent, and then we had the very non-violent. So
6 topics.
How many... We were going to do 6 subjects again?
Let's just do 6.
All right, we're going to
give us a wider range of opportunities.
We're gonna do 6 subjects again, and we're going to refresh, and I'm on the page right now, and I'm refreshing.
All right, let's see what we got.
You ready? We got bridges. we got lighters, we got golf, we got books, we got slavery, and we got potatoes. What do you think?
I'm looking at bridges or lighters, maybe? I don't know. What do you think?
I'm actually gonna go with potatoes.
You like potatoes?
I
didn't think you would like potatoes.
No, I'm going with potatoes. I actually initially was thinking about slavery, but
that might be good.
But I don't want to go with slavery because
fuck that shit.
Yeah, I feel
sucks.
like bats got misinterpreted, so I can't imagine what
God
slavery does, and I feel like potatoes can't be that fucked up. So my choice is potatoes. What do you think? What do you?
All right,
like?
Universe, you heard it here first.
Yes,
Potatoes. What's up? We want to get some good goddamn potato stories before the end of next week.
Please.
We will be back. We'll be hitting you with them potato stories.
Yes.
We'll be hitting you with that real shit like we do here at the Jerk of All Trades podcast.
Every goddamn week.
We love you. Stay
love you
tuned.
guys.
And, you never know what's going to come next.
This is true. We are out.
Peace.